Hello. Excuse me. Hello. My name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani. Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 160. Day 160. We are in the process of solving word problems from day number 101 through 200. Today is our 60th day of solving word problem. Here's the problem for today. We are told that a boy is B years old. B is some number, obviously. We do not know what it is, obviously. Otherwise, it would have been an arithmetic problem. It's an algebraic problem. Boy is B years old today. In algebra, in the language of algebra, people are never 10-year-old or 12-year-old. They are B years old or C years old or X years old. 10 years from now, we are told, 10 years from now, his age, boy's age, will be half that of his father's. 10 years from now, we are told, the boy's age is going to be half of his father's. Boy is going to be half as old as his father 10 years from now. The question simply is, how old is the old man today? How old is his father today? That's all. Let's do it together, shall we? Pause the video. This will be a good place to pause the video, solve the problem yourself, come up with the answer, and then compare your work against the work that we're going to do together. Here's the solution. The very first thing we need to do here to make our life easier is to assign this guy some variable. This is the punchline. How old is his father today? How old is his father today? This is what is being asked. This is what I always refer to as our punchline. Let's give it some name. Let's give it a variable. Let's give it assign a variable so that it's easier to manipulate and talk about it. Let's pretend that the father be F years old today. We are pretending that the father is F years old. In other words, we are giving it a value of F. Now F is your unknown, because that's what we're looking for. How old is the father today? We're calling it F. This is your unknown. B is not the unknown. B, understand what's going on here. The language, as I said, of algebra. We are told that boy is B years old today. Boy is B years old today. We are told how old he is today. He's B years old. It's a known quantity. It's a known quantity. How old is he? It's B years old. How old is his father today? I don't know. I have to find it. Therefore, it's the unknown quantity. Even though they're both variables, B is a known quantity. Then we are told 10 years from now, his father is going to be half as old as the boy. How old is the father today? Father is F years old. F is what we are solving for. F is the unknown. We also know, so let the father be B years old today. We know that boy is B years old today. That implies that 10 years from now, so what I'm 10 years from now, oh Jesus, 10 years from now, so this implies signs that I put there. It follows this statement. It says nothing to do with that statement. That variable was created just for the convenience. We haven't used it yet, but we know, so the solution starts from here. Boy, we know, is B years old today, and that implies that 10 years from now, the boy will be, well, if he's B years today, therefore 10 years from now, he should be, whatever his age is today, B plus 10 more years. One more time. One more time. We are told that boy is B years old today. That implies, this is the implies. It implies that 10 years from now the boy should be whatever his age is today plus 10 more. At which point we know, at which point we know that he will be half his father's age. At which point he will be half his father's age. And this is where the pitfall comes in. This is where people end up making predictable mistake, and therefore they end up assuming that b plus 10 must equal half his father's age, and if we're calling the father's f, if you're using letter f to represent father's age, then this will be half of that. No. What does f represent? What does f represent? F represents his father's age. Let me put it in the red marker so you can see it. What does f represent? F represents his father's age today. This scenario talks about 10 years from now. 10 years from now, which is what I meant by at which point, 10 years from now, he will be half his father's age. Well, father's age is not going to be f 10 years from now if he's f years old today. If the boy grew by 10 years, so will father. Father will no longer be f 10 years from now. This is a wrong equation. This is a wrong equation. Let's continue on the top. I need the room, so I need to raise it. I'm going to leave the punchline for the time being to remind ourselves what the unknown is. The unknown is f. It is the f that we're solving for. Everything else is known. Everything else is a known quantity. So let's continue this part here. At which point he will be, the son will be half as old as his father's age. Continue up here. This was the wrong word, so we're not going to worry about that. But 10 years from now, his father will be whatever his current age is today, which we're calling f, plus 10 more. Just like the boy. If boy is b years old today, then 10 years from now he'll be b plus 10. Just like that. If father is f years old today, then 10 years from now he should be f plus 10. Now let's continue. Now we just set up our equation, that's all. We're almost there. So therefore, 10 years from now, half his father's age would equal boy's age. We are told that 10 years from now, we are told in the problem, therefore, this should say 10, not then. Therefore, 10 years from now, half his father's age, we know is going to be f plus 10, half of that amount should equal boy's age, which is b plus 10. So you see what was wrong here? This is not f, it should have been f plus 10, half of that. So let's do it together then. So half of that amount, half of his father's age, which is f plus 10, should equal boy's age, which is going to be b plus 10. We're almost there. Again, I need more room, so I'm going to erase all of this now. We continued this part from here to the top, so it's all gone now. Now, it is very important that you keep in mind what the unknown is. The unknown here is f. F is the unknown. And what do we mean by unknown? Unknown is the punchline. How old is father? How much does the book cost? When does the train arrive? Oh, How fast is the car going? Whatever is the punchline at the end is what is unknown. Everything else is known quantity in the language of algebra. Even though they are all variables, but they're telling you. They're telling you the guy is driving B miles per hour, and the other guy from the opposite direction is going C miles per hour, blah, 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 blah. When does the accident occur? Or when does the accident occur? The unknown is the time. Do you understand? Or how many hours from the start of the journey does the accident occur? Well, how many hours is the unknown? Everything else is known. So, how do I get rid of this 2? Let's multiply this side of the equation by 2, and let's multiply this side of the equation by 2. And by doing so, these 2 cancels out, and we end up with f plus 10 equals 2 times b plus 10. We are still not done. We are interested in solving for f. So we got to get rid of this 10. How do we get rid of this 10? By subtracting 10 from both sides. And now we end up with f. See, this cancels out. F equals 2 times b plus 10 minus 10. There you go. This is our final answer. Let's bring this f closer so it looks a little bit better. F equals 2 times b plus 10 minus 10. There is your final answer. That's it. That is our final answer. How are we going to verify this thing? How are we going to figure out, how are we going to know for sure if this in fact is the correct answer? Answer to that question, of course, is what we have always done. If you have watched the previous video, which I hope you have, the idea was to watch all the videos in sequence to learn algebra properly. What we have always done is what we're going to do today, which is to plug in numbers for the variables in our original problem, and thereby converting that algebra problem into an arithmetic problem. And once we have an arithmetic problem, we can solve it, we will know what the answer is, and then we'll see if this expression gives us the same answer. So let's do that. We don't need any of this thing, so I'm going to get rid of it, and we're going to plug in now numbers. We're going to convert this problem into arithmetic problem, and we're going to redo the problem, and we'll see if this expression actually gives us the right answer. Well, I just pointed to it. It is not an expression, it is an equation. This would have been an expression. This is what I meant. If this expression gives us the father's age today, which is what we're looking for. The father's age today, we found out, equals this expression. So let's plug in numbers. Okay, here we go. Now, let's plug in, PI stands for plug in, numbers, to verify our answer, that is. Let's pretend boy is 12 today. In other words, we're plugging in 12 for B. Is that all we need? A boy is 10 years old, a boy is 12 years old. Oh yeah, that's all we need. There was only one other variable in the problem. I just realized the entire problem had only 2 variables, B for boy and F for father. So we're not going to plug in anything for F, obviously. That'll be silly. F is what we're solving for. So we plugged in a value for B, and that's the only variable we have to plug in for. That's it. The rest will come. The rest is going to come from the problem. So listen carefully. So if you're going to pretend that the boy is 12 years old today, that's our B. Boy is 12 years old today, then that implies then 10 years from now, he will be 10 plus 12, or 22 years old. But we are told that at that point he is half as old as his father. So if he's 22 years old, that implies that his father must be 44 by then. Okay, keep listening. Okay, you have to follow the logic. That's all it is. His father must be 44 by then. Well, if that were correct, then that in return implies that his father must be 34 today. Voila. This bloody thing this bloody thing better give us 34. If this thing does not give us 34, we are in trouble. We have made a boo-boo. So let's do it together. So f equals 2 times b, which is 12, plus 10. This 10 comes from the problem. This 10 has to do with the fact that 10 years from now, that's that part. Minus 10. 12 plus 10 is 22. 22 times 2 is 44. 44 minus 10, voila. 44 minus 10 is your 34. This expression is in fact the correct answer. We got lucky. That's all. That's how you solve an algebra problem. You have to take your sweet time. That is the biggest mistake people make. See, I'm not in a hurry. Some people might find it boring as hell that this guy is going slowly. Because I'm not solving a problem. We are learning how to solve a problem. There's a difference. I could have done the entire problem in probably a quarter of the time. But you would have not learned anything. You have to slow down and take your sweet time. Make sure you understand the concept. Make sure you understand the logic, the rationale behind it. One more time. I'm going to explain to you one more time how we did the plugging in part, okay? So here's what we did. We said let's plug in numbers to verify. I should have said number, because there is only one. Because there is only one variable. I just realized that there is only one variable we plugged in for. Usually in the algebra problem that we've been doing, there have been 2 or 3 variables. This particular one, the nature of this problem is such that we had to plug in for only one variable. So let's plug in number to verify. Let's pretend the number for B, that is. Let's pretend the boy is 12 years old today. In other words, we're plugging in 12 for B. Okay, this is where the story begins. If boy is 12 years old today, then 10 years from now, he should be 22, which is logical. If he's 12 years old today, he'll be 22 in 10 years' time. And then the problem tells us that 10 years from now, his father is twice as old as his son. Or, to be more precise, what we were told is that 10 years from now, the son's age is half his father's age. Well, if son's age is half his father's age, then the father must be 44, 10 years from now. Therefore, today, his father must be 34. This answer that we found better give us 34 once we plug in the value for the variable. I was about to say variables, but there's only one variable. So we plug in 12 for B, 12 plus 10 is 22, 22 times 2 is 44, 44 minus 10 is 34, at which point we exclaim, voila, that's it. That's all. We're done for today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 161, where we're going to talk about Michael one more time and how old he is compared to his buddy, his chum, his pal, his amigo, his comrade, his friend David. Alright? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.